Morning everyone, how are you?
Good, great.
Thank you.
Super
As you know, my name is Phuong. I come from Vietnam, and today I would like to give you my presentation about the relationship between Vietnam and Japan. My presentation today is designed to help you understand about the important role of Japan official development assistance in developing Vietnam of infrastructure. With this purpose, I would like to divide my presentation today to main points. As you can see on my slide, the first one I am talking about the current condition of Japan official development assistance or ODA in Vietnam. And then I would like to talk about the important role of Japan ODA in developing Vietnam infrastructure. Now, let me to start with the first point of my presentation. Before I talk about my first point, I have a simple question for you. This is number 15, and my question is, what is the meaning of this number? Any ideas, Karu? Okay, let me explain the meaning of this number. This is a chart indicate the 5 biggest sponsors in Vietnam in terms of ODA in Vietnam since 1993, in which you can see that Japan become the biggest sponsors through ODA in Vietnam, and the amount of money which Japanese government spent in Vietnam is $15 billion since 1993. And this is the meaning of number 19. But you can ask me a question that why Japanese would like to spend a lot of money in Vietnam? Personally, I would like to give you 2 reasons in terms of politics and economic. In terms of economic reasons, as you know, my country is developing country. A lot of Japanese country can take full advantage a lot of natural resources, low labor costs as well in my country in order to do their business in my country. And in addition, you know, my country is located in the most important area in the Pacific Ocean. So I mean, a lot of Japanese company can easily to export Japanese product made in Vietnam to the country located in the north of Asia, even Europe. And this is my economic reason. In terms of political reasons, you know that Japan is one of the biggest economy in the world. So they want to spread their influence on all over the world. And they also want to take advantage of any support from other countries for international issues, global warming, for example, or international conflict, for example. And more especially, recent year, Japan and Vietnam have the same conflict with China regarding the sea. So I think in the future, Vietnam will become a good friend with Japan in order to solve conflict with China. And that's why Japanese government want to spend a lot of money in Vietnam today. That's all about the first point I would like to talk about with you. Let me move on the second point, talk about the important role of Japan ODA in developing Vietnam infrastructure. Japanese government always consider Vietnam infrastructure development as one of top priorities, because Vietnam infrastructure nowadays is not accredited meet Vietnam rapidly growing need. As you can see on my pictures, so the traffic jam always happen in 2 biggest cities in Vietnam, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. And you know, traffic jam is not good for any country. In addition, infrastructure development closely associated with developing country, developing economy and attracting foreign investors. That's all about I want to talk about with you regarding the important role of Japan ODA in developing Vietnam infrastructure today. Let me to sum it up. I talk about two main points. The first one, I would like to give you some information regarding current condition of Japan official development assistance in Vietnam. And then I would like to talk about the importance of Japan ODA in developing infrastructure in Vietnam. Thank you for listening. And now, if you have any question, I am glad to answer the question. Right.
Thank you for your presentation today. So I would like to ask you about the infrastructure project that Japan in ways of give donation to Vietnam. Can you explain us that what about that kind of project?
Thank you for your question. Do you want to know which type of project, infrastructure in Vietnam, which Japanese government want to fund Vietnam? Okay. As you know, there are a wide range of infrastructure, electricity, for example, road system, for example, or communication, for example. They are we can call infrastructure. And Japanese government want to spend a lot of money into road system, because the road system in my country, as I mentioned before, is not accredited to Vietnam, rapidly growing it. So that's why Japanese government want to spend a lot of money on this field. My question is very clear. Thank you. Any questions, Phuong? You see?
Thank you for your presentation. As I told, there are many offices of my company in your country. Yeah. Then I have one question. How do Vietnamese thinking about Japanese or Japanese company? Vietnamese.
Do you want to know how Vietnamese think about Japanese company in my country? Thank you for your question. Well, from my point of view, I think almost Vietnamese think, we prefer doing in Japanese company because Japanese company often pay a lot of money in terms of salary to Vietnamese. Thank you for the question. Any questions? Any question? Oh. Do you have any question for me?
How do you think of the influence of such aids to your to future your country?
Do you want to know the
It's just your opinion. I want to know. How do you think it's good for the future, or your country must improve or develop its internal domestic enterprise? How do you think about it?
Do you want to know about Japanese government fund a lot of money in my country is good in the future, right? Well, I think Japanese, a lot of money is funded by Japanese government. I think very good because a lot of important projects in my country is funded by Japanese government. They will have Vietnam to develop economy in the world and attract foreign investors in the future. So I think very, very good for Vietnam in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. In short, I think in the future, I hope Japanese government continue to spend a lot of money in developing infrastructure in Vietnam. Because, by the way, I can learn valuable experience from Japanese company in terms of corporate management skill and developing economy. Thank you for listening.